It's game week, baby! The Tennessee Titans will go to Soldier Field in Chicago to take on the Bears. We're talking about that game, but we're giving out the season predictions, a full Titan slate with odds and everything you need to know in a quick summary of 30 minutes or less. Tennessee Titans prediction video 2024. Let's go. Next on Upload Live. So thanks so much for joining the show here on a Sunday afternoon, just after 2 o'clock Eastern time. And this show is going to be powered by our friends over at BetUS.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
So let's dive right in. 2024 Titans predictions. You guys know me. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a so-called, I will not use any biased when I break down these games, these 17 games the Tennessee Titans will play. We do have a new Skycam, so shout out to all of you on Skycam. Let's go. Tighten up to you up there. And yes, we're right back at it live. So again, I see some of you in the chat. Appreciate it. Give me your season predictions. We'll go game by game by game. We'll wrap this one up hopefully in 30 minutes or less. So less of me talking, more of you guys interaction. Don't forget to vote in the poll. That definitely helps out the channel. Definitely tighten up that like button, hit that subscribe button. That helps the channel as well. Right now, I've asked you, we're up to almost 50 votes. And how many wins will the Tennessee Titans get in 2024? Under 4 at 3%, 5 to 7 at 3%, 8 to 10 at 76%, and 11 plus at 19%. So roughly right around 8 to 10 wins is what you are saying at home. Again, don't forget we'll be live all week. Actually, we're gonna break down the Titans and Bears. So I'll put that one up on the bottom of the screen real quick. Boom, there it is. Titans and Bears. We'll be breaking that game down. I'll be doing short video this week of that breakdown, like I used to do back when you could say Titan Upload was at his best, so to speak, a couple years ago. So you'll be getting that video. It'll be short, around 5 minutes. Give you a lot of different stuff you can digest. And then I'll give my prediction, obviously, at the end of that, which you don't really want me giving predictions. It's not a good thing. Yesterday, when you talk about the prediction thing, the under, I told you under on the last preseason game versus the Saints. That hit the over. Last night, I'll be honest with you, I took a 2-team parlay. I got Florida. They were plus 2.5 at home versus Miami. Miami's always hit. I'm a Miami fan. They're always hit or miss. Everybody's built up on Miami, and then they fall flat. And then Notre Dame. Well, I hit on Notre Dame, didn't hit on Florida, busted it all open. But yeah, anything the opposite is not, it's good for you, terrible for me. But anyway, shout out to all of you guys. Again, don't forget to tighten up that like button, hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate you. And vote in the poll. It definitely helps the channel. Really quick, Upload Radio will return this week. So definitely, if you are in the 145 Club, you guys will have a feature where you can call into the show. Wake Up Nashville is still up and running. Rossi hit 1.3, 1.4 views, 1.4K views this week on the show. So he's been destroying it. Power Hour will be Monday night. He's going to be doing a full Titans, but full NFL prediction. So definitely check him out and Titans Time podcast. And then we'll be doing watch parties, not only one, but 2 this week. We'll be doing one on Thursday night to kick things off. Be more of a hangout than anything. We'll talk about the game. We're interested to see Derrick Henry, and we'll see. I kind of think the Ravens are going to beat the Chiefs here on opening weekend, but we'll see how that works out. And then Sunday, it starts for real for us, Titans and Bears. And just remember, preseason numbers have been great. We did all 3 preseason games on the channel, and the Saints one exploded at the end. The first game exploded. The middle one was okay. But again, you guys were here. You're very optimistic, and I do appreciate you here on the channel. So tighten up to you guys as well. So let's dive into this season prediction. We'll go through all the games, starting in Chicago against the Bears. We'll have the little odds on the sides as well. But again, when you break down this schedule, it's not easy. I think a lot of people, when it came out, the Titans were supposed to have one of the worst so-called I don't know. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But one of the worst, so to speak, it should have been the easiest schedule because we got one of the worst records last year, right? That's what it should have been. But unfortunately, how this thing has progressed, and I'll go through these. The Titans, shockingly, are only favored in one game. And there's only a handful of games they're under, +2 or under. So most of these games are 3.5 or higher. So that's definitely a concern. If I'm ringing, let me know. I feel like I'm ringing somehow, some way. Mr. Digits is SmackDown Chi-Town. Let's go to game. We got Sin City Titan. Thanks for being a member. Yes, a week to go right now. We'll be well into the second quarter. Titans Bros. Not going to be able to hit you live, but 9-8, barely slide into that 7 spot is what the Titans Bros was saying. 17-0 says Sin City Titan. Owen. Super Bowl bound. Let's go. Plus 15,000, by the way. $1 or $10 could earn you $1,500 if they actually win the Super Bowl. And that's just for $10. Sharm Sports, let's go. Keep doing your thing, man. I enjoy what you do on X. You keep us up to date, and I appreciate you, buddy. Phil, tighten up. Owen says, shout out to the Fantasy Football League. That they just had their draft, Rossi said. Richie says, I'll hit up the poll. I hope it's not rigged, lol. What's up, Upload? Hey, Richie, what's going on, buddy? Again, Sin City Titan, shout out to you. He's full draft or good draft. Fulcom says 8 and 9. We're going to probably book that. Trey Mack, tighten up to you. Upwork Network staying very busy for sure. Michael, schedule is tough. Titan South, shout out to you, buddy. 9 and 8. And Leon, thanks for being a member and a moderator. And same with Sin City Titan. 1 week away. Can't wait. So let's just dive into this thing. So this thing's going to be kind of crazy. I put a lot of work into this, as you guys know I usually do, but I will have updated as we go game by game, and I'll kind of give you my take. I got the odds to my side as well. So let's put up this, boom, get rid of that. So here we go. We got our first 4 games, 2 games at home, 2 games away, the first game away, the 2 games in the middle at home, and then the last game away. So when I look at these games, I think they're important, and that's how you should break down football games. Should not look at the whole slate. You break them down in 4s, and then obviously the Titans are not really deep. So I think we all have to put that in perspective when we're judging these games. I think if the Titans are fully healthy, they can beat anybody on the schedule. Yes, anybody on the schedule. I'm putting that out there to you. However, if you start to see some injuries, which has happened over the last 3 years, where the Titans have led the league in injuries, it seems like over 3 years. And no, I'm not being a politician, just spitting out a bunch of stuff that's not actually true. We're in that season, by the way. Both sides do it. Both sides do it. But when we look at this channel, I'm trying to spit out as many facts as possible. Okay? I don't want to lie to you. You guys aren't lying to me. We keep it basic. We keep it simple. It's a family-friendly channel, and I just hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the team and what we put out there. But when you look at the first 4 games, I think that first game, the Bears get overlooked. I don't think Vegas overlooks the Bears. And Bear fans definitely don't overlook the Bears because they're winning the Super Bowl. 1985 all over again. Their defense is improved, by the way. Their defense is definitely improved. So I think we should put that in perspective. Right now, the Titans are 4.5-point dogs going into Chicago week 1. I would say last year, Chicago's defense got better. I think Caleb Williams is going to struggle in this game a little bit. I'm not saying he's not going to put up a couple touchdowns here or there. I'm not saying he's bad for anybody's fantasy football team, but Caleb Williams, I do believe, is going to struggle a little bit. Now, someone just came out and said, they're going to be ready for Denard Wilson. They're going to, all these, and I told you, when he's going to rush and consistently rush and send a lot of these guys on blitzes, it's going to open up some areas. So I would anticipate the Bears would have a few big plays in them. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me because ultimately I'm ready to see an aggressive defense. When it's 3rd and 2, I don't want to see my guys playing 10 yards off the ball. I want them up there. Snead can play with anybody. Uzier, again, I know he's been hurt and not healthy, and that's a concern. Brownlee's, he's been okay. I think he can step up as the 4th guy, and then McCreary. They just picked up the Baker dude from the Colts, so he's decent, I think. He's not great, but he's decent. So again, let's just break down the Bears. When I look at the Bears really quick, there are some things that definitely concern me with Chicago. Last year offensively, okay, this is last year's statistics, but when they rushed the ball, Chicago had about 142 yards rushing the ball, and they ranked number 6th in rush attempts per. But us, making that major trade, bringing in, the middle linebacker from the Rams, Ernest Jones, like that's going to help shore up. And we should be pretty healthy week 1. That's also a help. We're going to be able to shut down Caleb Williams. Are we going to be able to get after him? I think Landry's going to have some say in that. I think Simmons and Sweat inside are going to have a say in that. Arden Key, Harold coming in there every now and then. I'm not really banking on Murphy at anything or the new guy, the Ollie guy that we got from the Texans. But I think overall the Chicago Bears are right for the pickings. I think they're going to be. We've seen how these things progress. Remember Jameis Winston in the Bucs? I know that was years ago. But you get these debuts from these rookie quarterbacks, and Mariota tore it up. So you do see that side of it where he threw 4 touchdowns. You saw Will Levis tear it up from 4 touchdowns last week. But Denard Wilson's going to bring pressure, and he's not going to give the Bears a chance to breathe. So as long as they can hold up and the defense doesn't give up huge plays down the field through the air and maybe gives up maybe 1 or 2 big plays through the ground, but for the most part contains them, gets the Bears off on third downs, I think, and I do predict, the Chicago Bears will end up losing to the Tennessee Titans. So I got the Titans beating the Bears week 1. And that's going to set the tone, I think, because that's going to give the Titans a lot of optimism. You guys can let me know in the chat. Again, the Bears are 4.5-point favorites. Go to week 2. Week 2 is a whole nother element. The Jets do some great things, right? They can get after the passer. They can stop the run. They didn't have Aaron Rodgers last year because he got hurt in opening weekend. He should be in week 2. He should be ready to go. He'll be a little bit of growing pains, I would think, after missing a whole year, but he'll start to turn it up. And it would be the Titans' first home game, so you got that part of it. The Titans always win their first home game? No, we've seen that over the years. We don't have to go much further. We played terrible against the Cardinals. We played okay against the Giants, who were a bad football team. They ended up being okay that year. And we ended up missing a kick. We lose to the Giants. So the opening game of the season at home, last year? I think we beat the Chargers on opening weekend. So that was a good thing. But again, 4-point dogs going into this game as well. I know it's early, but if anything, I would predict that the Tennessee Titans, it will be a close game. It will go here or there. But when you're looking at quarterback, Caleb Williams, rookie, Aaron Rodgers, night and day there, difference. So I actually got the Jets winning week 2. Then we move on to Green Bay. I think Green Bay is a tale of 2 teams. Last year, they weren't great in the beginning of the season. And then Jordan Love took over late, and he ended up catapulting them into the playoffs, and they were basically a blink of an eye. Probably should have beat the 49ers and ended up going to the Super Bowl, dominated the Cowboys, those kind of things. So Green Bay is going to be good. Green Bay is going to present some challenges to the Tennessee Titans again. But again, I can't forecast injuries just like you can. And Will Levis, if I got to be fair on Will Levis, he's been pretty inconsistent at camp. He's been okay at times, and then he's not been okay at times. He really struggled against Seattle. So again, when you're looking at Green Bay, LaFleur comes back. We could call it a LaFleur revenge game. The Titans have been kind of okay against Green Bay. They've played them well. They've beat them on a Thursday night. They've lost to them on a Thursday night. They've beat them at home. So again, when it's a home game, you would think the Titans coming off a loss to the Jets would win that game, but I'm going to go the other way. I got the Green Bay Packers winning. So now Tennessee's 1-2. But again, what you're going to see in this narrative is all games are going to be close. The Packers game, they're 3.5-point dogs right now, which going into the season, this is our best chance to win a football game at 3.5. I know these are early. Next week, Monday Night Football, a place we won last year. In comeback fashion, Will Levis. I think Will Levis is going to have the confidence for this game. Unlike some of these other games, playing the Packers for the first time, playing the Jets for the first time, playing the Bears for the first time. He will get to, for the most part, the Dolphins aren't going to change a whole lot. The Dolphins were very underrated on defense, and they were very underrated on offense for the most part. Later on in the season, I get it. They can't win cold road games. But, man, they looked pretty good at home. They looked good indoors. Titans still didn't matter late in the season. I know they were slipping, and they went in and beat them. So a Monday night game, I think it's going to rejuvenate Tennessee. And who would think, the Titans in a 6.5-point dogs going into this game, probably going to be a little worse if Miami wins a couple games early on. And with the Titans, if it's true, goes 1-2. But I'm I'm thinking the Titans shock. And this is going to be a Callahan game. And that's the one thing we should take notice to. I'm not really afraid of Tua. I know some of these other, Jordan Love's short as far as his time in the NFL being a starter. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm definitely going to be a little bit timid to Aaron Rodgers. Caleb Williams, maybe later, but not first game of the year. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at these first 4 games. I think they're going to be a split. Now, here's the funny thing, as I'll go back to the main camera. I think it's hilarious. Okay, I think it's hilarious because I don't think I'm probably going to be right about any of these games. I could be completely wrong. And guess what? The Titans will still go 2-4. The Titans will still go 2-4. So again, I'm excited about it. I'm excited the fact of seeing the new team, the new look. I think defensively we're going to be better. We weren't awful last year defensively. We weren't awful last year. Again, if I look at total defense last year, the Tennessee Titans were 18th. When you look at red zone defense, we were number 1 in the league. Points given up per game, Tennessee ranked 16th in the league. So if there was one thing that we did well last year, for the most part, we were pretty decent. We were pretty decent on defense. Offense, well, that's a whole nother story. Let's get some more of your comments. Again, you guys are bringing them. Shout out to you guys. 90 people in the house. Don't forget to tighten up that like button. Helps out the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you. Titans Rossi, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Let me condense this a little bit so it's easier to see because it's a little bit harder to see right now. So sorry about you guys. Doremus says tough schedule. Jeez, it is tough. It's going to get a little tougher here. Could start off with a 3-1 record. We could start off 1-3. We could start off 0-4. We could start off 2-2. Keenan Allen could be a problem low key. That's true. He will play. He has he calls it a mid ankle injury or a low ankle injury or whatever. Mild is what the word I was looking for. I think he'll be ready to go week 1. Injury bug can go elsewhere this year. Good point. Mary says we went to the UK game last year. Shout out to Mary. You went all the way there or are you from the UK? Let us know. Tony says I'm looking at 11-6. Hashtag says 11-6. Doug Willis, shout out to you, says 9 wins. Rod says 13-4. Let's go. Clay, shout out to you, buddy. Hope all is well. Clay's going 10 wins. Let's see. Is it Goodree saying good afternoon? Tighten up. But I believe we should be looking for another edge guy. I agree. There's still some options out there that the Titans should definitely look at. Fulcrum says, I'm nagging you feeling Caleb Williams is going to be the next Ryan Leaf. Sports Legend says, I think this is our year in the playoffs. Hashtag says, if any other teams made these kind of moves, you're right. ESPN's got us ranked like 26th or 27th, and it's not budged since we've made any moves. Truly hate the early buys. Can't stand them. Good point. Sweats get his first career sack against Chicago. I hope so. Over Chicken, shout out to you, buddy. I thought we were going to go 2-2 before the bye, but seeing this preseason and trading for Jones, I think the Titans are going to be 3-1. Remember, though, the Titans starters did not play in game 2. They did play against the starters, or did not play against the starters against the Saints. That was their second team, and a lot of media just put that to the side, national media. And even week 1, I can't say that we saw a lot of starters against the 49ers, so keep those things in mind. Overchicken, no one come back with a torn Achilles has done well. That's a good point. Freak says 52% of our new roster, new coaches, no one can tell if we're going to be good or bad yet. Good. But apparently Vegas can tell you, and they say you're going to suck or we're going to suck. Plus 15,000 odds. We're ranked all the way at the bottom. The only one better, worse odds than us is Carolina. Eric says, I see us going 10-7 or 8-9 at worst. Trey Mack, I missed Derrick Henry. I think he's going to have a monster season, to believe it or not. I do. And kicks off Thursday night. So I hope you guys can stop in, say hi, and at least hit that like button for us. 11-6, 13-4. You guys need to put down the bottle. CC27, if the Colts made these moves, they would have been favored to win the South and Super Bowl favorites. Goodness gracious. The stinking Colts. So here we go. Again, when we're looking at this one more time, I got us going 2-2, but the beauty of this, it could be 2-2 anyway. It could be a win against the Bears, win against the Packers, and losses to the Jets and Dolphins. If I had to pick, and it was 2-2, here's what I would tell you. I would hope, if I knew we were going to start the season 2-2, give me the week 2 win, give me the week 4 win, because those are conference wins, and those are going to be very, very, very important as we go on with this show. However, before we go a little bit further, we're going to shout out our friends over at BetUS.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
So week one's right around the corner. What better thing to do to go over to BetUS and check out what the latest spread is from the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears, September 8th, a noon game at Soldier Field. So we're here on the site. Really easy to find. Titans versus Bears. Here we go. Right now, the Tennessee Titans are basically 4.5-point underdogs. Will Levis going into Soldier Field against rookie Caleb Williams. And basically, BetUS is saying, look, the Bears, we think maybe are for real. So I already got my cursor highlighted for the Tennessee Titans to win out. I don't even care about the 4.5 points. You keep them. I'm saying the Titans are just going to win out of this game. Bam, win the game. And just to keep it simple, look at this, $29, bam, that easy to make myself some $50 and go ahead and confirm that out there. Bam, done. It's over with. $50 just for putting up $29. And they're basically, I'm confident my Tennessee Titans will win. Maybe you are going the other way. Maybe you're going with the Bears, but it's just that easy. So go ahead and check out BetUS. Link in the description. 125% sign-on bonus and up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Only question, what are you waiting for? Tighten up. So shout out again to BetUS. Link in the description. Again, 125%, your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. So take advantage of that. Have fun with the site. And I got something fun to show you. So again, just kind of looking at BetUS, going over some odds before the show and seeing kind of where they had us. Did they make any moves since the trade for Ernest Jones? Not really. It's kind of the same. But on the bottom of my screen over to this side, yep, right over there, last man standing wins it all, Survivor Pool. I know a lot of you do this with your friends and family, and you might throw in $5, $10, $20, and it seems a lot of fun. I know guys that even go a step further, and they join these massive leagues. I knew someone, a coworker of mine, who won, was it $3,000? And I was helping make those picks. Yes, I was helping make those picks. Crazy. Did I get any money for it? Heck no, I didn't get anything. Got a pat on the back. But he'd be like, hey, what do we think this week? Who do you think's for sure going to win? Of course, all you needed to do is just whoever I told him pick the opposite. But last man standing, it's kind of a cool thing. So I haven't seen that before. Maybe it's on different platforms as well. But BetUS, again, 24-hour payments. Again, they got a little bit of insurance there. If you lose some stuff, just make sure you're old enough and make sure you live in the correct state, because not all states can play. And again, it's a very easy process to verify you. So go over there, maybe even join the Survivor Pool. I'm thinking about it myself, and week 1 is right around the corner. Don't forget, it starts Thursday for real. So shout out again to our friends over at BetUS. So again, this is kind of how it's all going to play out. We're moving on, so we'll make it faster, quicker. I promise you. Let's go. So then we move on to the next 4 slated games. Well, you get that stupid bye, as you guys were talking about in the comments. We don't like that bye week coming so early, but it might actually be a positive. And why is it a positive? Because this will give Will Levis a really good chance for the coaching staff to evaluate him in his first 4 games. Callahan can hopefully give him a little bit of his wisdom, since he's been pretty good. Maybe like a quarterback whisperer. And it gives him an opportunity then to get ready for your first divisional game. So 2 reasons why I like the bye in this case. 1, evaluation of Levis. 2, you get the full week bye. Unfortunately, you get the Monday night game, so you lose a day on, and then you got the travel. So the Titans kind of got screwed there. But you are ready to go week 6 at home. You cannot lose that. So if you want to make the playoffs, I know you do, and some of you are saying, hey, 13-4, whatever. If you want to make the playoffs, this is your first must-win game of the season, assuming you do start 2-2. Now, if you start 0-4, of course, it's a must-win game. But let's be honest. If you're 0-4, that means Levis is probably struggling a little bit, or the defense has some injuries. It's because they're not very deep. So it's one or the other. But when you look at week 6, this is going to be your first big game. You gotta win. There's no question about it. And because I've been preaching this, and I know I made Colt fans upset, but again, the short I came out with yesterday, the ultimate slap in the face, ranking the Titans the 6th worst team, according to the position of quarterback. And the Colts don't even make the freaking list. That's a joke. If the Titans make the list, the Colts got to make the list because AR has been awful this preseason, and he only played in 4 games last year before getting hurt against us at home, and he struggled in that game against us, if you remember. It took Gardner Minshew to get basically dropped from the sky to come in and do some damage to the Tennessee Titans. And we know we don't always play the well against Gardner Minshew, the Raider. But bottom line, and of course, they were number 1 worst quarterback situation. But again, Colts, Taylor, I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Again, I'm not a big believer in Anthony Richardson. I think he struggles. But I think he's really going to struggle against the Titans if they're healthy on defense. I really struggle. And I think the Titans will do just enough on offense. The Colts, sneaky good defense, by the way, sneaky good. They aren't terrible. Again, when you look at the Colts defense last year, I know when you look at their overall defense, total defense, Indianapolis Colts were 24th. That seems pretty bad. But when you compare the Colts, again, against the run, really quick here, hold on. Sacks per game. Colts were 5th. That's what I was going for. 5th in the league in sacks. So with your offensive line trying to learn itself, I think right around week 6, you're going to find out more of an identity of that offensive line. But I do predict the Tennessee Titans are going to beat the Colts. So they're going to start 1-0. They'll be 2-1 in conference. So it's looking good. But then we go to Buffalo. And by the way, the Colts would still be a 1.5 favorite at Nissan Stadium, even coming after a bye week. The next 2 are tough. A combined plus 14 against us, 7-point underdogs in each game. The Bills do present challenges. I think the Bills are going to be weaker this year. But going up to Buffalo, I know we have a new coaching staff, 52% new rosters you guys have mentioned, but I still think it's going to be hard stopping dual quarterbacks. Like Lamar Jackson's going to be tough. Vrabel did a pretty good job. Denard Wilson's going to bring a lot of aggression, but I don't know if that's going to definitely limit you're talking some big plays because he can run and pass with Allen. So, again, I actually have the Buffalo Bills winning that game against us. Probably be close, but I still predict them to win. Lions, awful matchup. I mean, you don't want to play the physical teams. We're not Vrabel anymore. So we're going to be a little bit more finesse. Our defense is going to be nasty. I will agree with that. Offensively, though, I mean, our left side can end up being nasty, right? We do have the dual backs, but we don't have that, just ground and pound guy anymore in Derrick Henry. And for the most part, even our wide receivers, like D-Hop, is he going to be healthy at week 8? You know what I mean? Is he going to be healthy? Is Burks even going to be on the roster at that point? How much is Burks even going to do? Ridley will be there, I'm sure. Ridley's good to go. Tyler Boyd will be fine. But again, you're talking that physicality and at Detroit. Detroit's not who they used to be. I have Detroit actually winning the division for the Lions in the NFC South, or I'm sorry, NFC North. So again, I do view this one as a tough game. And again, the Titans are going into this game on the road, back-to-back road games, 7-point dogs. So this is where it shapes up. So right now the Titans are 3-4 going to the next one. Just throwing that one out there. And I'm going to get to some of your comments here. I just want to kind of speed it up. So here we go. Next 4. Oof. If you're going to the playoffs, it's this 4 that you got to do it in. Let's be real. It's this 4. Okay? And honestly, you probably need to sweep 9, 10, and 11. Realistically, I think the Texans game will be difficult. Texans are going to be good this year. There's no denying it. The only way the Texans will be bad is if, obviously, C.J. Stroud has a sophomore slump, which is possible. And I want to ask you this, going back over the last how many years? The Colts haven't won the division since 2014. Titans went back-to-back in 21-22 or whatever it was. 2021. Jaguars came out of nowhere to win in 22. And then the Texans were supposed to be the worst team in the division last year, and they end up winning. So anything's possible other than the Colts winning the division. Just kidding, Colts fans. Just kidding. Sorry, that's on me. I got to be nicer to my Colts fans. Anvil, shout out to him for being a member, by the way. So we look at these 4 games. In the Vrabel era, the Vrabel could beat anybody and lose to anybody. We don't know how that's going to work with Callahan. So again, when I look at the Patriots game, Patriots are bottom 5 team in the league. I mean, they're not even starting Drake May at this point. He'll probably be starting versus us. Let's hope it's not his first game. Because, again, you don't have to go back very far to Will Levis's first game against the Falcons. Falcons come in pretty good. They're pretty hot at the point, and Levis just went off on them because nobody has a lot of film on them, so the defense has a tough time. But here we go. I got the Titans beating the Patriots. They got to win. This is like one of those that you got to win. There's no, because if you lose this game, then you got to beat someone that you're not supposed to beat. Now, I know a lot of you are just going to see what's coming. And a lot of you are going to say, yeah, the Chargers, the Titans will beat them. But I give Jim Harbaugh a lot of credit. Jim Harbaugh, again, the physicality point, is going to build up that offensive line. That's why he took Alt at number 5. Okay, yes, they already have a left tackle. They move Alt to right tackle, just like we did at right tackle, left tackle. But we didn't have either tackle. Chargers do. And I think the Chargers are going to be pretty decent this year. And I think the quarterback's going to take off, Herbert, and I do think their defenses can get after it. Again, they're going to present a lot of challenges for the Titans on offense. It is in L.A. That hurts. Traditionally, the Titans don't travel west well. Traditionally, new coach, get it, all that. Vrabel kind of changed that a little bit. Remember when they went to the Rams on a Sunday night football game and then they went to Seattle? They won both of those games that year, and it kind of shocked us. So anything's possible. But this is one of those games that I will predict. This is one of my, if I'm going to predict one loss and one win, this is the one I feel the most confident in as far as losing. Then we bring in Minnesota. Minnesota is going to be a different team. Yes, they do have weapons on the outside, but I think we're covered with who we have as far as Snead and Awuzie. I think that's going to take away Jefferson and that kind of stuff. Again, new quarterback. The quarterback's out. So McCarthy's out for the year. We're not going to have to worry about that. I'm not afraid of Darnold. I'm not afraid of any other. Who knows? Ryan Tannehill might be starting this game if they pick him up and realize that they need a quarterback that can play. So, again, another game I think you got to win. Right? It's at home. There's no excuses. Minnesota, if they had a quarterback, they're decent, right? They've been good over the years, but I don't think they're going to be good this game. I think the Tennessee Titans will beat them. Again, if we're going back for the Patriots is the only game all year we're favored to win. 2.5 points favorites. Chargers +4. Vikings, the lowest non-favored game, is +1. So that's definitely a coin flip. Then you move on to the Texans. 5.5 point favorites at Houston. I think the Titans can play in these games. There's not one team in the division that scares me that I think automatic L. Honestly, I think the Titans are going to either be 4-2, 5-1 in the division this year, and that's high praise for Callahan. I just feel confident. I think the AFC South gets a lot of glory now, and we think, oh, the Houston Texans, they could win. I think the Houston Texans aren't going to be as good as you think they're going to be. I think they're still good. They probably still win the division, but I don't think they're going to be like, hey, up there with the Ravens and the Chiefs, the class of the AFC. I still think they're down a tier, right? Maybe one playoff win and out, one playoff game and go home. So when I look at the Texans, again, 5-0, it's at Houston, so we'll see how that plays into it. But early on, again, Levis going to Houston, it's going to be a big game for the first time. He didn't do well at home last year against the Texans. He got broken in half. Not sure how much that plays into it, but Ryans is back as the head coach. I think they did play the Titans pretty well, even with a backup quarterback we were supposed to beat. Give me the Houston Texans to win that. So if we're looking at it now, if my math is right, we're still a 5-6 football team. I think we could easily be 6-5 at this point. I think you can go up 1, up 2, but that's kind of where we're at. That's where we're at. 5-6 heading into the final stretch here. We got a super chat from Leon. So shout out to Leon. Let's put his super chat up there. It says, very hard for me to predict the record this year. Too many question marks under Vrabel's last few years on offense was centered around King Henry. So things will be very different going forward. Again, the reason why I kind of put this in perspective, thanks so much for the super chat, being a member, and all you do, man. I do. You look at the member squad, I think most of those members are donated by Leon. Honestly, I think we're up to like 40-some members now, and half of them are from Leon alone. But when I do look at the Titans and the schedule, it's very hard to predict. So people that come out here and say, oh, they're going to do this and that, they have no idea. And honestly, I probably have no idea. But I do feel like I'm so invested in this team that, you know, there are certain elements that I feel pretty good about. One thing I've been pretty firm about is I don't think the Colts are going to be that good this year. That's the one thing I can tell you. Jaguars, I think they're an average football team, right? So I might not be able to gauge the Titans fully, but I have a pretty good idea about the Colts. I have a pretty good idea about the Jaguars, and I think the Texans will be good. That's just my opinion. I definitely could be wrong on that. Shout out to Ray for a super chat. Expectations low, so you don't want to get disappointed. Maybe, right? But I do think that those first 4 games, getting that bye, I think you're going to be thankful the Titans got the bye. Honestly. If we start 4-0, I'm an idiot. I mean, I'm excited about that, by the way. But again, if we start the first 4 games, and we're our Skycam, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. We'll get that fixed and ready to go for sure. But if we start the first 4 games 2-2, you know what I'm saying? 2-2, 1-3, I think you're going to be very thankful for that bye, especially gives Will Levis another jump start for sure. Marza says their wide receiver core in our secondary is a mismatch. Chargers won't be good. Mitchell's saying it. We'll see, Mitchell. We'll see who's right, buddy. We'll see who's right. You guys know I'm probably the one that's wrong. Brandon, tighten up. What's up, Brandon? Stroud sophomore slump. Let's hope. A lot of the great ones do it. And then look what happened to Vince Young. I feel Buffalo is going to take it. They will be a step down, but I still think they're better than us. I'm being pound for pound, roster for roster. I think they're better than us. Quarterback might trump for sure. Will Levis. And I'm just being honest, okay? I mean, after all, Will Levis is supposed to be a Josh Allen type figure. So you're comparing him to the man, right? When it comes to that. So again, let's keep this thing going. Will is my backup QB, says Stevie. So he's going with Rudolph. So we're over 105. Definitely tighten up that like button. And let's keep going. All right, back to the old thing. We're just having some fun on the channel. I appreciate you. Again, let's help us at least get 50 likes before we get out of here. I appreciate that. Would be a win for us. That would be a win for us as we're getting back and going here. And it's game week, baby. It's game week. Let's go. I'm so excited about that. Woo, so excited to say it. We're officially game week. A week from now, we'll be about halftime. Hopefully the Titans will be winning. All right, on to the next 4 slate of games. You got Washington at Washington. You got the Jaguars and the Bengals back-to-back home games, and then at the Colts. So, if you want to make the playoffs, I told you the last 4 games are going to be a big indicator of that, especially with those 4 games. And I want to agree with you. I want to say that the Chargers are a game that you can win. But again, I mean, this game is on the West Coast. You're going to have to travel there, and you're going to have to put all those things in perspective. You can't just ignore history and how teams struggle from east to west sometimes. So again, injuries, fine. But at this point in time, we're not very deep. So that's also going to basically indicate a lot of how these games could end up based on who's available. So here we go. Commanders, I mean, you got to win. Rookie quarterback, a team that really struggled last year. I think there'll be a little of improvement with Washington, but let's make no excuses. You got to be able to probably be close. You got to be able to go there. Now, according to Vegas, we're still underdogs in this game, plus 1.5 underdogs against Washington. So that doesn't really change. But another coin flip in all honesty. Remember, you're given 3 points pretty much at home. So I think we do win that game. It's a must. Them and the Patriots, if you want to go to the playoffs and you want to have an opportunity to be playing for an opportunity late in the year to go to the playoffs and be relevant, you have to beat New England and you got to beat Washington. It's a must because I don't know where those other wins are going to come from. Are you going to beat Buffalo? Are you going to beat Detroit? Does those Jets and Packers game become into play? I'm not confident about Miami or even the Bears. I think those games could hit or miss, win or losses. 1-3, 3-1, 2-2. I think those are really going to be interesting how the first 4. Plus, every team thinks they can win the Super Bowl in the very beginning. But I think the Bears really think they're going to win. On coming off Hard Knocks, I think it's perfect. This reminds me of the Browns years ago when Delaney Walker went in there and basically just kind of marker dropped his closing comments after we destroyed them because all they're doing is talking. Well, that's how the Bears are doing. They think they probably already won this game. All right, moving on to Jacksonville. I kind of already gave away with my thunder on Jacksonville. I just don't think they're going to be that good this year. I think they're going to be okay. I mean, we beat them with the worst offensive line in the league last year when they had the most to play for. And it coming into Nissan Stadium. If they can't beat us then, I mean, they made a few moves. But again, look how many moves. We're night and day what we were last year. Our offensive line should be cooking by this point, by the way, too. I just hope our running backs are healthy. I got the Titans winning. So if you're kind of, going back, we're 2-1 in the division at this point. So we're doing good there. So we're back-to-back wins, and we go to Cincinnati. This is another game where I think a lot of people are going to base everything off of last year, and you should go take a timeout. Go sit in the corner and count to 15 and then come back out and then we're good to go. You need a timeout because that game was the most ridiculous, stupidest game if you could think about. We destroyed the Bengals. It was either 27-3 or 24-3. The Bengals were freaking awful in that game. That was one of the worst games the Bengals ever played. And I was excited at the time because we could never beat Joe Burrow. He was turning in, to, I don't even want to say his name, the former Colt quarterback, because that's just how bad it was looking. Even when Burrow and the Bengals, Burrow was okay, but the Bengals sucked in his rookie year, and they had 5 replacement offensive line. 5 starters went down that game. It was real windy, you remember, and we went in, and Ryan Tannehill threw a touchdown he threw it across his body. Bates was talking a lot of trash before the game, and Bates picked him off in the end zone, and that kind of set the tone, and we ended up losing to the Bengals in a game we should have won. The Bengals were awful that year. Even then, Burrow beat us. But in that game in Nissan Stadium last year, early on in the season, I think it was like week 4, if I'm not mistaken, the Titans basically played Burrow with one arm behind his back. Burrow was so hurt in that game, he could hardly do anything, and the Titans ended up winning, and we were all excited. I was excited about it too. This game's going to be different. If anyone knows Callahan the most, it's Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor invented Callahan. We've seen in the past where sometimes, the Vrabel and Belichick, even though Vrabel never coached with Belichick, he played under Belichick, and Vrabel actually took advantage of that fact and outsmarted Bill in his own game many times. So you can see it the other way, but I just see Burrow and the Bengals being a lot better this year. I do have the Bengals competing with the Ravens to win the AFC North. I do think the Ravens end up winning that, but the Bengals are going to be there, and they're going to be one tough out in the playoffs, and they'll be right then and there. So I do have the Bengals, believe it or not, winning at Nissan Stadium. That's a kind of a blow to the playoff hope, by the way. But again, please make sure you at least go back to that game last year. 4.5-point favorites, by the way, for the Bengals. And remember, you get 3 points for playing at home, so it's really like 7.5. Then you move on to the Colts. I told you before, I don't think the Colts are going to be that good this year. Sorry, Anvil. It's just my opinion. It's no disrespect to Colts fans, but we hear all the time about how much better the Colts are than us, and they're judging last year as the end-all, be-all, and they forget the fact that we had the worst offensive line in football, and we still were competitive. The Titans going into Indianapolis, when we had Ryan Tannehill, we weren't afraid of him at all, and Ryan Tannehill was a Colt destroyer. I think Will Levis can go in there and do well. I think the defense will shut down the Colts. So if there's only one way the Colts will beat the Titans, all right? Jonathan Taylor just goes crazy, which is possible, right? Or the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis just struggle, and it's stupid turnover fest. It's dumb plays, dumb penalties, dumb galore across the board. We beat ourselves is what I'm trying to say. According to the Vegas, the Colts are plus 3.5 to beat the Tennessee Titans. Again, the Titans are only favored in one game in 2024, and it's against New England, and it's only a 2.5-point favorite, and you get 3 points for playing at home. So again, put that for what it is, but I got the Titans winning again in the division. And now the Tennessee Titans, if my math is correct, with 2 division games left, the Tennessee Titans are 3-1 in the AFC South. All right, let's get to some more of your comments over here. Tighten up. I think we got to Brandon. We got a couple super chats. We got team leader in the house. We're always good against Indy. I think we'll be good this year. I'm going to the Washington game, says Mitchell. Shout out to Mitchell. Doug says the Bears are teddy bears. It was 27-3. Good call. Be French. Bears fans are delusional with the rookie hype. Phil says our head coach kind of knows a thing or two about the band. He does, but they know a few things about him too. Fulcrum, oh yes, they are. Bears game will be one of the few convincing wins the Titans will have. Over Chicken says, if anyone knows Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, it's Boyd and Callahan. True, but if anyone knows Boyd and Callahan, it's the Bengals. It's the teeter-totter effect. Yep, we beat we're sweeping those Colts. We got to sweep the Colts. Got to do it. We just got to. We got to sweep the Colts. All right, last 2 games of the year. All right, last 2 games to see if we can get into the playoffs. So at this point, I believe, if my math is correct, we're 5-6. We win 3. So right now we're 8-7 going into the last 2 games of the year. So we can either be 10-7, 9-8, or 8-10. So that's kind of where we're falling. And that's according to the poll. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Over 100 people voted in the poll. How many wins for the Titans this season? 2%, 9%, We got 65%, and then we got 23%. And the 65% is 8 to 10 wins, and that's here we are. Here we are. 11 or more is 23%, and then 5 and 7 is 9. And majority of you, 98% of you, are saying, heck no, the Titans winning under 4 games. And again, if anything last year, again, worst offensive line and football defense was okay. The Tennessee Titans still won 6 games last year. I know that was last year, but come on, guys. Come on. They're going to win more than 6.5 games this year. Again, when you're betting, though, I mean, I don't know if it's worth that because of the odds thing. I don't know how much you're going to really have to throw that way. But again, you can bet the over-under for sure. So again, Jaguars, this one's tough because the Jaguars are going to be average. And honestly, right now, how the season's gone, we're average. I mean, we're 8-7. We could be 7-8. We're 8-7. So we can be average. Jacksonville, they're probably right where we're at. This is going to be a big-time game. Does this game get flexed? I'll answer that for you. Heck no, it doesn't get flexed. Jaguars, a 4-point favorite. 4-point favorite. Again, you get 3 points for playing at home. So this one's really going to be a coin flip. I think we match up well. I think we're going to play well. I think it's just one of those things. I can definitely see the Titans winning one. I can see the Titans losing this one. It's just, I don't know. It's a flip of a coin. And we've had some flips of the coin before, and we landed on the right side. There's going to be some games we're going to land on the wrong side. And towards the end of the year, maybe it's the pressure on Will Levis. Maybe that would be your end-all, be-all. Maybe it's going to be pressure on some of these other guys, right? But the bottom line is, in Jacksonville, late in the year, I don't know. So there we are, sitting at 3-2 in the division. Then we go to Week 18. Week 18, to get into the playoffs, you got to win. Now, the good news for us going into Week 18, it's a home game. The second reason why this is good for us is because if we are within reach of winning the division, well, since we got a home playoff game to win the division at home versus the team we're most likely to be competing against to win the division, and that's the Houston Texans. And then there's the other element, point number 3, which is a realistic possibility if you buy the media's hype and Texan fans' hype. I can't believe Eastside's not in the house. Shout out to Eastside. The Texans might already have the season wrapped up. And I don't know if we're going to have that, pound my chest, we're going to play our starters to keep you out of the playoffs type of crap. Again, it's a long season. It's an extra long season by 1 game, but it's a world of a difference. So I can see the Houston Texans probably not going to get the bye. The Ravens or the Chiefs will get that. But I can see the Texans being either a 3 or 4 seed, getting a home playoff game in the wild card weekend. But they're going to this is going to be their chance to rest. So that's my point 3. So that's why if you add up all of those things, I get it. The 3-point favorite for the Texans there. I like the chances of the Titans finding a way to win this game, either against their backups or it's just that, that last game of the year to win the division, or, it's at a home game. So bottom line, we win that. And guess what? We finished the year 9-8 and we're 4-2 in the division. So that gives you a fighter's chance if you're competing against some of these other teams, if it's going to be that close. A lot of people think it's going to be close. Maybe 11-6 for the Texans, and then 10-7, 9-8 for the rest of the division. Now, I don't see that. I see the Colts down at 7-10. That's where I think the Colts will be. I think Jaguars will be right around 8-9, 9-8, just like us. And I think the Texans will probably be around 10+ wins, 10 or 11. So when you put all that math into it, I think there's an opportunity to sneak in and win or get into the playoffs. I think there's an opportunity. If you get into the playoffs, anything's available. But based how the season's gone, and I'll go back one more time for you real quick, but based how the season is gone, you can kind of see where we're looking at. It's going to be kind of some growing pains and some steps back. So my question to you now, I got us 9-8, having an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs, and it would be a road game. It'd probably be against the Chiefs or the Ravens, possibly the rematch versus the Bengals. But those would be the 3 possibilities. And more likely, I'm probably predicting against the Chiefs. And I just don't think we're ready to beat the Chiefs right now. Okay, I don't think we're ready to beat the Ravens. It could be the Buffalo Bills. I already went through that scenario. But if you put this in perspective, if you want to look at some positivity, if your top 4 teams, let's go top 5 teams in the AFC, Chiefs, could go in any order, but let's go Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Texans as 4. Who am I forgetting? So if we look at and then the Bills. You would have played the Bills. Okay, you could argue the Dolphins are in there, but you're going to play the Dolphins, the Bills. Okay, you're going to play the Bengals. You're going to play the Texans twice. But you don't have to play the Ravens, and you don't have to play the Chiefs. So that is a positive thing. Where on the flip side of it, the Texans, since they won the division, will have to play the Chiefs. And the Texans will have to play the Ravens. I believe the Ravens won the division last year. So they're going to have to play both of those teams. We're not going to have to. So that could come into play late. Will it? I don't know. Because I think we're going to be an average football team. That's just my opinion. So again, shout out to our sponsors of the video today, BetUS. Check out the link in the description for them. As we approach the 50-minute, we've went way too long. But again, I can tell you, in all honesty, we're favored to win one game. There are, let's see, Washington, Minnesota, okay, Indianapolis. Those are 3 more games that are coin flips because it's either 1 or 1.5 points. Most of these games, +4, +4.5, +6.5, +7, +7, +5.5, +4.5, +4, and there's a couple at +3.5. I mean, we are not supposed to be very good. Like, if you were going to bet the over, the under, you would get more money betting the under, which is telling you, like, they would expect you to be under more than you are over. So you throw that in there. But here's the thing. You guys put in the chat. You guys know. This team, we don't really know about Will Levis. Now, there are a lot of people that say they know, and they'll pound on the table for Will, and that's fine. All right, I think the media has built him up somewhat. But from where we're standing, like, we just don't know. If Will Levis is just average quarterback, okay? Let's just say a little bit better than Ryan Tannehill. I mean, Tennessee's going to win some games this year. I think when you look at it the other way, if Will Levis is not very good, if he's a little bit below average, then yeah, we're going to struggle. But if he's average or better than average, the Titans are going to win a lot of games, okay? They're going to win a lot of games. I did see some growth in preseason games from Will by checking down, and they're giving him a lot of options with Pollard. They're going to have options with Spears, okay? I know Wiley's got to get more healthy with the tight end position and Okonkwo, but you got receivers galore. Boyd's going to be a nice guy that's going to get you a first down here and then move the chains. He's that type of guy. Hopkins is going to get some big plays, get some targets, and then Ridley's going to beat a few people deep every now and then, and that's per game. That's per game. So you talk about last year with Chris, I make one big play game or more. Well, this year you got that on steroids is what you got with Ridley. He's going to be making more than one big play a game. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't know where you guys are. Again, if I go over here really quick before we end the show, and then we'll get to your comments and go all the way back here, I'm going to have to exit out of all these, which is problemsome. I don't know, whatever. So if we'll go down like this. All right, so then here we go with 13. There's my, going back. That's where I got us the strongest point, 3-1. So then let me take these away. Then we move on to these games. Bam. So there's 9 through 12, just as a review. Wish I had an easier job doing this. Take those games away really quick. And there we go. And then we start the year, I think, 2-2. But I think those can go either way. And there's how we start it, 2-2. I think we could go 2-0 and then 0-2. I think we can go 1-1 and then 1-1. I think it's all very debatable. So let's get to some of your comments. Let's get out of here and tighten up. Upload when we play the Bengals game. I'll be looking for you. I hope so. See Russ. I'm voting for us to be the surprise this year. We have loads of talent and no pressure. That is a great point. And I'll give you a cheer, see Russ. But the flip side of that, the cautionary tale is they're not deep. That will eventually hurt them with injuries. If guys get injured. Injuries, we could be the most healthiest team all year, make it to the Super Bowl plus 15,000 odds. You bet $10, you're ended up going home with $1,500, and we get our first Super Bowl ever. Is it possible? Heck yeah, it's possible. But on the contrary, you start to see a couple of these guys go down. Okay, knock on wood. Harold Landry goes down. There's nobody to replace him. You know, Harold, he'll be okay. He's got a great spin move. He had a good preseason. But going up against starters now all the time is going to be a little different, okay? And Arden Key is going to be soloed out. If Sweat doesn't, transpire into the beast we think he can be, or Sweat gets an ankle injury and he's out 4 or 5 games, that's going to hurt the inside part of the game, okay? Joseph Day, he'll have to step in and be productive. Coburn, whatever. But again, Coburn wasn't great against the Saints backups, and I thought he had a really good preseason. And then the final part is your secondary. You got 5 corners, and you got 3 for sure that can play. Brownlee is going to be a work in progress, but he's better than Trey Avery. And then you got the Baker guy from the Colts, who's again better than Trey Avery. You do got some secondary guy. Hooker seems to get hurt all the time. So I think when you push goes to shove, or offensive lineman goes down. If an offensive lineman goes down, a left or right tackle like Lawan used to do every now and then, Lawan would be out for the season or whatever. I mean, you're bringing in Jalen Duncan now as a replacement. That ain't gonna work well. So that if there's any moves I want the Titans to make is bring in another solid right tackle, and I think Chris Hubbard is that guy who can definitely be that guy. So again, I appreciate you guys. Lee in the house. Lee says Titans were an average football team last year, even with the horde. I mean, they were okay. I mean, they did win 6 games, Lee, but I get your point. Totally. That's why I think they're going to win more than what they're going to win this year. Natova says Levis has shown at least as much as I don't know. I don't know about that one. He's played in 8 games. I think he's won, 2 games of the 8. I get that. He's had 8 touchdowns, 4 in the first game. So he basically in 7 games, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. I can't really go on that. And SM Ducky says he missed Cody Hollister. Oh, my gosh. We missed Cody Hollister for sure. Again, shout out to the Super Chats for today. We got Super Chats from Leon. We got Super Chats from Rave. Again, don't forget to visit the link in the description from BetUS. 125% up to the 3 first deposits up to $2,000 with BetUS. Link again in the description. And again, Rossi, Wake Up Nashville will be live. And don't forget Power Hour on Monday night. Happy Labor Day. Titans 9-8. You guys can critique me all you want, but that's my honest take, everybody. It could be 8-9, it could be 9-8. Who knows? But that's kind of where I'm going. And the poll real quick before we leave, get you up on Skycam to end the show, right? So we got under 4, 2%, 5 to 7, 9%, 8 to 10, 64%, and 25% are saying 11 wins or more. 11 wins or more. I hope you're the ones that are right over me and anybody else. So until next time, don't forget to tighten up. It's game week, baby. Let's go. Shout out to you guys. Take care.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.